Hey there, my friend, and welcome back to CEO Soapbox Podcast with me, Neda Farzad, episode number 17. And if you're new here, thank you for joining me and welcome. Today, I want to talk about something that gets dressed up as a marketing problem, a sales problem, a lead quality problem, and sometimes even a team problem, but usually isn't. You see, if your marketing is busy, your sales team is frustrated, and your pipeline still feels patchy and full of wrong bloody work, there's a good chance your ICP is vague. So ICP, I mean ideal client profile. And that's the real problem if your ICP is vague. Not your ad agency, not your LinkedIn content, not your poor marketing manager trying to hold 10 things together with duct tape and good intentions. Not even the leads most of the time. The issue is that too many businesses say they want growth, but they're still widely unclear on who they are actually built to serve. And when that's fuzzy, everything downstream gets messy. You attract the wrong people. You write generic messaging, you create content that sounds nice but lands nowhere. Sales take calls with people who were never going to buy properly. Operation and service gets handed work that looks good in the proposal and shit in reality. And margin quietly gets smashed while everyone blames lead quality. So I'm going to say something, it could be controversial and some people might have their backup for this, but a lot of businesses do not have a lead problem. They have a fit problem. And because they haven't defined fit properly, a business fit properly, they keep trying to solve it with more activity, more campaigns, more content, more outreach, more funnels, more emails, more tweaks, more noise. Busy marketing, empty pipeline, or worse, full pipeline, worse potential clients and worse leads. And that one is even more dangerous because it gives you false confidence while it slowly screws your delivery, your team, and your profit. So today I want to pull this apart properly so we can do this together, and we're going to talk about what people get wrong about ideal client profiles and why vague ideal customer profile create cross-functional chaos in the business, how this shows up in marketing, sales, and operation, and how to fix it in a way that actually helps you win better work. Because, okay, this is not a branding exercise, okay? This is not about some fluffy ideal client customer avatar workshops with pastel sticky notes and made up names like Marketing Mary. I'm not interested in that. I am talking about a commercial decision, a strategic decision, an execution decision, because your ICP should help your business do 3 things: attract better, sell cleaner, and deliver with profit. And if it's not doing any of that, it means it's too vague. So let's start. Let's start with the bullshit version of ICP work. So this annoys me the most. Too many businesses treat ICP work like a marketing exercise. They sit in a room and say things like, "We work with growth-focused businesses. We support ambitious leaders. Our clients want innovation and results." Cool. That means absolutely nothing. That kind of language sounds polished, but it's commercially useless. Because almost every business say they work with ambitious people, growing companies, businesses that want results, leaders who value quality. No shit. That's not a useful ICP. It's a lazy positioning. If your definition of who you serve could also be used as half of the companies in your categories, then you have not defined anything. You've just described a broad human condition of wanting things to go well. You actually described everybody. And this is where a lot of businesses get stuck. They think their ICP is clear because it sounds respectable. Nothing wrong with respectable, but it's not same as useful. So in business, useful means your team can actually use it to make decisions. Can marketing use it to sharpen messaging? Can sales team use it to qualify it properly? Can delivery use it? Can service use it to spot risk before the deal is signed? And can you or your leadership team use it to decide what work to pursue and what work to walk away from? That's the test. Because if your ICP is just a nice paragraph on your website, that's not an ICP, my friend. That's the decoration. So let's strip this back. What an ICP is actually for. Your ICP is not just the kind of client you like more of. Your ICP is your definition of the best fit revenue. That means the client who are most likely to buy with less friction, get strong result from your work, be commercially viable, be operationally sane to deliver, and stay profitable over time. That's it. This is where people go wrong. They define their ideal customer based on who sounds attractive, impressive, or aspirational, instead of defining them based on what actually works. And just to be clear, I mean works in the real world, okay? Not in a theory, not in a strategy presentation, not in a marketing workshop. In practice. Who buys well? Who implements well? Who respects the process? Who gets results from your work? Who pays on time? Who doesn't blow up the team? Who gives you repeat work? Who doesn't need 2 exceptions and 15 emotional rescue calls to get across the line? That's your ICP conversation. It's not just what market do we want to be known in? It's who are we genuinely built to serve well at a healthy margin without creating internal chaos. That's a very, very different conversation. And frankly, it's much more honest one. So let's talk about why vague ICP creates a busy marketing. And that's pain. So let's get into the pain. When your ICP is vague, marketing has no chance of being sharp because vague input creates vague output. In the brief is we want more of the right leads. My first question is always, so who exactly are the right leads that you're talking about? And if the answer is something fluffy like medium to large businesses looking to grow, or businesses needing support with strategy, sales, and operations, or companies that value premium service, okay, then we have a problem. Because now marketing has to create messaging for a giant gray blob. And what happens when you market to a giant gray blob? Well, you create bland content, safe content, broad content that gets attention from people who are curious but not committed, interested, not qualified, engaged but not ready, wrong fit, wrong stage, and wrong problem. Then everyone starts measuring activity. You know the ones: impressions, clicks, leads, downloads, reach, engagement. And look, marketing managers, marketing leaders, CMOs out there listening to this, I'm not saying these things are useless. No. What I'm saying, they become dangerous when they distract the business from the real question. And that question is, are we attracting the kind of work this business should actually win? Because a marketing function can look busy as hell and still be feeding your business rubbish. And if you don't have a clear ICP, you won't know the difference. That's how businesses end up celebrating volume while sales is quietly dying inside. Marketing says, we generated 200 leads. Sales says, yeah, and 160 of them were never a fit. Service or operations says also, the few that did close were painful and underscoped. And CEO, you're going to sit there and go, why isn't this working then? You see, because the business never got brutally clear on what good fit demand actually looks like. That's why. So the problem, this is where the marketing loves this, the problem is not just marketing. It's commercial misalignment that you have in your business. This is bigger than marketing. A vague ICP creates a chain reaction across the business. Here's what actually happens. You see, marketing attracts broadly because the target is broad. Sales take too many meetings because qualification is weak or inconsistent. Proposal gets shaped around whatever the prospect says they want instead of what the business knows it can deliver properly. The deal closes, everyone celebrates, then service and operation inherits the mess. Now, delivery has to cope with mismatched expectations, unclear scope, wrong client type, unrealistic demands, extra hand-holding, lower margin, and a bunch of internal frustration that nobody wants to say it out loud. This is why I get a bit twitchy when people talk about pipeline like it's automatically a sign of health. I mean, business health, obviously. You see, not all the pipeline is good pipeline. Some pipeline is just future pain with a proposal attached to it. And if you are building a business that wants sustainable growth, not just random bursts of revenue, you need to get much better at distinguishing between revenue that strengthens the business and revenue that quietly weakens it. That line matters a lot. Then I get, but Neda, we don't want to narrow our market too much. I know. I know you're thinking, you said that before, didn't you? Yep, I hear this all the time. And I get it. Leaders, CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs, GMs, MDs worry that if they get specific, they'll miss opportunity. They think narrowing their ICP means shrinking their market. That's what you were thinking, right? But sometimes they even panic and say, but we can help lots of different kind of businesses. Is that you? You see, maybe you can. That doesn't mean you should market to all of them equally. That's a part people miss. Having the capability to serve many types of client is not the same as having the right to position yourself vaguely. You can still take exceptions. You can still say yes selectively. You can still work outside the core sometimes. But your go-to market should be built around where you create most value with less friction at the healthiest margin. That's not restrictive, that's disciplined. And mature businesses need more discipline, not less. To be honest, most businesses, every single business needs discipline. Because once you start growing, complexity gets expensive. A vague ICP might feel flexible in the short term, but in practice, it creates weaker messaging, noisier pipeline, poorer conversion, more custom work, more delivery stress, and less predictable profit. And that's not flexibility. That's, to me, it's a leakage. So, the wrong work is more expensive, my friend, than most CEOs realize. Let's talk about wrong fit client for a minute. And I'm sure you had them. Because this is where the money leaks and people pretend it's normal. And they tell you, it's business. Wrong fit work is expensive in ways that don't always show up immediately. Sure, maybe the revenue lands. Sure, maybe the deal looks fine on paper. But then what? The team spends more time managing expectations. The scope starts bending. Change requests gets messy. Decision making slows down. The clients need more reassurance. The delivery model gets strained. Your best people get frustrated. Sales starts hearing complaint from delivery. Marketing gets told to bring better leads. And leadership ends up with this vague feeling that growth is happening, but it doesn't feel clean. That feeling matters because clean growth feels different. Clean growth has less drag, less confusion, less firefighting, less resentments between the team, less why did we sell this energy. If growth feels heavier than it should, one of the first things I look at is whether your business is attracting too much wrong fit work. And that's what you should look at it too. And when I say wrong fit, I don't just mean bad clients. I mean clients who are wrong for your current operational model or what you're providing. That's important. You can be technically capable of delivering something and still not be commercially set up to deliver it well. Big difference. So now you're probably asking, so what a proper ICP should include? I'm going to tell you. Now, let's make this practical. I love practical. So a proper ICP is not one line. It's not, we work with founders who want scale. It should give your business clarity on real world fit. So at minimum, your ICP should help answer these questions like, number one, who gets the best result from what we do? This is very important. Not who likes your content, not who takes a meeting or who actually gets outcome. Who gets the best result from what we do? What do we solve for them? What do they get? Who is profitable to serve? Oh, that's a big one. This matters. You're not a charity. Some work is interesting, but commercially, bullshit. Okay, and you can smell it, right? Number 3 is who is operationally aligned with how we deliver. Do they move fast enough? Do they have the right internal capability? Can they make decisions on time? Can they implement? Do they need a level of support that breaks your model? Number 4, who values the problem we solve enough to pay properly? A lot of businesses are educating markets that do not yet value the problem enough to buy the solution for it. That creates a long sales cycles and endless convincing. That's not what you want. When they're ready, they can come, but in what you want, they're not the right fit. Number 5, who should we actively avoid? This is a big one. This matters just as much as all of them. Your ICP should not only tell you who to chase, it should tell you who to stop chasing. That means red flags, pattern, client types that looks attractive upfront but creates chaos later. So if your business has been operating for a while, you already have the data. And you probably know some of them in your head. You will come up. You already know which client makes the team say, love working with them, great fit. And which one makes the team say, never again. That intelligence should shape your ICP. Not a wishful thinking. So the data is probably already in your business. Here's the part that makes me laugh a bit, okay? Businesses will pay, I'm laughing with them, okay, not at them. Businesses will pay for more lead generation before they've properly looked at the clients they've already have. Madness. Before you spend more money attracting new demand, I want you to ask, who are our best client from the last 12 months, last 2 years, depending on your business, last 6 months. Not just biggest. I want you to ask, who are our best? Best mix of, obviously, margin, result, ease of sale, ease of delivery, retention, and strategic fit. This is the best mix of these ones. Then I want you to ask, what patterns do we see? Is that the industry? Is that the business model? Team size? The growth stage? Buying urgency? Internal maturity? Decision maker quality? Their problem awareness? Or the implementation capability? Then the hard question. Which clients look good when sold, but were actually poor fit once delivery started? That's gold. Because too many businesses, you know that, define their ICP from the front end only. They look at the marketing response and sales conversion. They don't include delivery reality. And that's how they keep selling work that creates internal drag. Your ops, your service team knows things your marketing deck does not know. Your account managers know things your website doesn't know. Your finance numbers know things that your sales pipeline does not. And if you're doing ICP work only inside the marketing function, you're already missing half the truth. This should be a cross-functional conversation. Marketing, sales, operations, service, leadership, all of them. Because the best fit client should work commercially and operationally. So, here's the controversial bit. More leads can make the problem worse. Now, let me throw a match into it. So sometimes the worst thing you can do for business is generate more leads before you even define a better fit. Seriously. I worked with businesses who don't understand this concept, and it's so painful. Because more leads into a broken qualification and positioning system just create more waste. More meeting. Oh, if you know me, I don't like meetings. More follow-ups, more confusion, more proposal, more noise, more opportunity for the wrong work to sneak through. Leader, CEO will say, we need to fill the top of the funnel. Maybe. But if your ICP is vague, my friend, what you're really doing is filling the top of the funnel with mixed quality and then asking the rest of the business to sort this shit out later. That's a lazy growth. And it's very, very expensive for you and your business. I'd rather see a business with fewer, better fit opportunities than a big, sexy lead report that hides terrible conversion and painful delivery. Because lead volume is easy to brag about. Fit is harder. Fit requires discipline. Fit requires trade-offs. Fit requires saying no. Fit requires your team to actually agree on what good and fit looks like. That's why some businesses avoid it. It's easier to stay busy than get precise. But precise businesses scale better. So, how does this show up in the real world? Let me make this tangible. You know your ICP is too vague if any of this sounds familiar to you. Marketing says, either being your team or external agency, we're getting engagement but not enough qualified conversions. Then your sales says, we're talking to a lot of people but most aren't ready, don't get it. Aren't they the right fit? Operations service says, we keep inheriting work that was sold with gaps, assumptions, or unrealistic expectations. Some of the stuff we don't even do. Leadership says, we're growing. More revenue, but margin is inconsistent and execution feels heavier than it should. Or this classic one. Different teams describes your best customer completely different. Marketing says one thing, sales says another, delivery says another, and CEO it's a bit of both. That's not alignment, my friend. That's a commercial identity crisis. And it will absolutely show up in your pipeline quality, in your revenue, and eventually your profit. So you're wondering, okay then, Neda, what should I do instead? All right, let's fix it. If I was sitting with you and your leadership team through this, I push them through something like this. So, step 1, define your best fit revenue. So what I mean by that is look at the actual clients, not the fantasy ones. Who creates strongest outcome, healthy margin, decent speed, and sane delivery? I want you to start there. Then I want you to identify your worst fit revenue, not just non-buyers, not the ones who didn't buy. I want you to identify the closed deals that became painful with rework, which type of work consistently created rework, stress, discounting, scoping issue, or low retention. Name them. Then step 3, we want to build your fit criteria. So what must be true for a prospect to be a strong fit? Think problem type, urgency, size, stage, team maturity, budget willingness, implementation capability, decision-making quality, and delivery compatibility. Then we want to create red flags. That's your step 4. So what tells you early that this is likely wrong fit work? Not urgency, not clear owner. Not clear owner is the biggest one. And if you've been in the business long enough, you know that. In the service business, not clear owner, it's always going to be a red flag. Shopping behavior needs endless customization, wants premium outcomes with budget shopper behavior, can make decisions. Oh, that's a big one too. Needs education you should not have to provide at this stage. Write it down. These red flags are important. Then we move to step 5. So then we'll update messaging and qualification together. This is where most people screw it up. They update messaging but not sales qualification. Or they tighten qualification but keep broad messaging. No, siree. Both need to move together because your external message and your internal filter should tell the same story. Then we go into step 6. Bring operation and service into the conversation. Delivery, ops, and service team should have a voice in defining what good fit work looks like. Not because ops should control sales, no, but because delivery really matters a lot. So, a simple filter that you as a CEO or a leader can use immediately. Here's a simple filter. This is what I tell the CEOs that I work with. When you look at a prospect, I want you to ask, are they fit commercially, operationally, and behaviorally? So commercially, is this worth winning? Right budget, right scope, right margin potential. Operationally, can we deliver this well within our model, our capability? And the behavior is, do they buy, decide, and engage in a way that supports success? Because it can turn around and bite you. If one of those is badly off, you should pause. Because wrong fit revenue nearly always tells on itself early. The problem is that businesses override the signal because they want the number. And I get it. Revenue pressure is real. I get it. But desperate selling creates expensive cleanup and business. You don't need perfection. You need standards and processes. Now, I'm going to talk about one leadership mistake, which is, here's something else that I want to call out. So Too many CEOs expect marketing to somehow solve positioning and ICP clarity on behalf of the business. And I know if you're a marketing person, agency owner, you go, yes, hallelujah, somebody says it. I know this. And that's not fair. It usually doesn't work. Marketing, amazing marketers out there can sharpen. Marketing can articulate. Marketing can test and improve, but leadership and business has to decide. Leadership and business has to own the answer to who do we actually want more of and why. This is not a task to delegate and forget, because it affects where you spend, what you sell, how you hire, how you scope, what you tolerate, and what kind of business you're building. This is strategic. And if you are the CEO, founder, or business owner, you need to be in that conversation. Not hovering over every word on the website, but absolutely owning the commercial truth underneath it. That's your business after all. So this is not about niche for the sake of it, okay? Now I want to be very clear. This is not me saying every business needs to become hyper niche and only serve left-handed dentists in Brisbane who own a boat and wear loafers. That's not what I'm saying. That's not the point. The point is not fake specificity. The point is useful specificity. Enough clarity that your team knows who to pursue, how to talk to them, how to qualify them, and when to walk away. That's it. This is about reducing waste and improving quality. It's about making growth cleaner, more intentional, more profitable, less chaotic, and friendly, more adults. Because mature businesses should not be running on a vague hope and broad targeting forever. At some point, you've got to grow up commercially and say, this is who we're best for. This is who we are not. And this is how we protect the business from the wrong work. That's leadership. And now, you probably think, but it's already working. I'm going to tell you the cost of not fixing this. Yes. Let's land the plane with the real cost. If you don't fix a vague ICP, this is what tends to happen. You keep spending on marketing that looks active, but feels underwhelming. Sales keeps chasing mixed quality opportunities and blaming lead quality. Delivery keeps inheriting avoidable mess. Margin gets eroded by poor fit work, extra effort, and inconsistent scoping. The business keeps growing in a way that feels heavier than it should. And leadership stays stuck in this weird loop of, we're doing a lot, so why this still feels off? And where is the money? Where is this profit? Because activity is not clarity and it's not proper growth. A growth without clarity gets expensive very fast. If your business has busy marketing, noisy pipeline, patchy conversions, recurring hands-off issues, and too much wrong fit work, please don't jump straight to, we need more leads. You might, don't get me wrong, but first ask a better question. Do we actually know who we built to win, built to sell well? Because once that gets clearer, everything else gets easier to sharpen. Guarantee your marketing gets better. Sales gets cleaner. Delivery and ops and service gets saner. And revenue, come on, gets healthier, and profit. That's what we want, right? And that's what it matters. So here's a takeaway I want to leave you with. If your marketing is busy, but your pipeline still feels weak, vague, or full of wrong work, stop blaming the leads first. Look at your ICP, look at your fit criteria, look at whether your businesses actually align on what a good client looks like. Because you do not need more noise, you need more precision. And no, that's not less ambitious. That's smarter. That's cleaner. And that's how you build a business that grows without making everyone miserable in the process. And honestly, that's the game. So thanks for hopping on a soapbox with me today. Always great to have your company here with me. If this episode hit a nerve, challenged something, or made you rethink how your business is attracting or selling work, send it to someone else who needs to hear it too. And if you're sitting there thinking, shit, that's exactly what's happening in my business, then reach out to me on LinkedIn, because this is the kind of work I help businesses to fix. Not with fluff, don't like fluff, not with theater, with real commercial clarity, sharp execution, and a business that stops chasing the wrong work. So subscribe, share the episode, and come find me on LinkedIn if you want to have a proper conversation about where things are getting messy and how to clean them up. Wishing you a brilliant week ahead. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and be kind to yourself too. Bye for now.